to be a good friend, to be productive at work. And so I truly take care of myself because I believe it'll make me a better person. I'm very grateful for the opportunities that I've been given, and it keeps me motivated to continue inspiring others. I always tell others, don't get lost in your head so much in how you look. It's not always about how you look, it's about how you feel. And when you find yourself getting stressed or overwhelmed with the thought of looking a certain way, it steers you in a different direction and your whole purpose shifts. I feel like being a mother to my daughter is my purpose. There's a reason I started this. And my reason is 11 years old now. She is my everything. She's my inspiration. My daughter approached me one day and just said, "Mom, I want to help people like you help people." She was 6 at the time, and I remember that she's watching me.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Bodybuilding.com corporate gym. We are live on the Facebooks, the Twitch,
the YouTubes.
Those 3 things.
Add the S.
The S is essential. Otherwise, people don't know about the internets, the interwebs.
Those type of things. Yeah.
Whatever the kids are saying these days.
AOL.
I'm Cassie. What?
AOL.
AOL. The AOLs.
Yeah.
The instant messengers. Do you guys remember that? Likes if you remember AOL Instant Messenger. And the chat rooms. And the creepy things you did in the chat rooms. PG, sorry.
What are we doing today, Cassie?
I'm Cassie, this is Andy, and today we're going to be talking about the overhead press.
Yeah.
And then if we're feeling spicy, we can go to the push press. And then if we're feeling even spicier, we can talk about the push jerk.
I do the strict press.
Andy does a strict press. I do lots of other overhead things.
Functional.
What?
Functional.
Functional athlete.
Yes.
Aesthetic athlete.
Yes.
You can probably tell the difference. When Andy takes this jacket off after the pump,
Yeah, you
you'll
gotta feel
see
the
even
pump
better.
first. Know that the jacket's getting tighter, and then you take it off. That's how it works. So.
I don't know if you guys knew that.
Yeah.
I was new to that.
Yeah.
Let's see. Why you should listen to us or pay attention to what we're saying is because we have experienced lots of years collectively. Sure. Also, I have 2 certifications in teaching weightlifting. Weightlifting is in the snatch and clean and jerk, and I have a level 1 CrossFit certification, which I know you hate, don't care about, but I care about. Andy?
I'm ready to learn from Cassie today. Tried and true bodybuilder here. I am a NGA physique pro, and I've been training for about 10 years now, but competitively for about 4 years. So I can't wait to do some of these more functional CrossFit movements and learn myself a little bit more about that kind of a compound lift. So today's exciting.
It is exciting. It's gonna be great. And question.
They want to know your ASL.
Yes.
Yes.
Good one. Oh my gosh.
29 male, Boise, Idaho.
29.
Yeah.
32 female, Boise, Idaho.
Old
AF.
Super old AF. Yeah.
Anyway, contrary to popular belief, doing functional lifts and doing a lot of weight also makes you jacked. If you can't tell, you can do either or. You can lift like an aesthetic athlete, or you can lift more as a power strength athlete. You can get jacked either way. Either way.
Get that heart rate up with the more compound movement, or time under tension, do a strict press. It's all still overhead.
Yes.
So we're going to be telling you different ways to do overhead, dumbbell, barbell, seated, standing, but right now it looks like we have a barbell hill here.
Barbell. We're going to start with, you can't see. I was going to point my phone down to it.
Boom. Look at this beautiful barbell.
Barbell. The cool thing about barbells is that most gyms have them. You can also use the smaller ones that have the weights at the end. I don't know.
Sure.
Curl bars.
The curl bars. Yeah, not an easy bar curl, but the straight curl bar. There you go.
Technical
Also,
words.
Cassie's unaware.
I'm unaware. I do not gym. Other thing to remember is if you are a dude, chances are your overhead is weak. and
Call
you're
me
bad
weak?
at it. No, I'm just saying chances are you're weak.
Okay.
I'm just
Good.
kidding.
Just some guys. I feel like you're just calling out all guys right there.
To be fair,
What is it?
women also struggle with anything upper body. But it's funny because men spend a lot of time on their upper body, but if you ask them to put weight over their head, they struggle.
Yeah.
It's because they do a lot of this pressing, this pushing motion, not this pushing.
Weight over your head, it can be scary at times.
It's scary, especially when it's heavy.
Yeah.
Agreed. Okay.
Cool.
So let's work on. Andy's gonna pick up the bar. He's gonna do all the work. I'm gonna talk at him and at you.
That's what I'm here for.
If they
So
have
to start-
questions, they
if
can
you
ask.
have questions, comments about anything really fitness related, we're here to answer them. So if you have nutrition questions,
Yeah.
supplement questions, Andy's on the regulatory compliance team, so he knows a lot about supplements and a lot about science. So he's your guy. I'll just say something witty at
Keeping
the
your
end.
products safe.
Keeping your products safe.
Yeah.
At BB.com.
That's it.
That's what we
It's
do.
a good way to explain it.
I like it.
Yeah.
Or CrossFit or posing. We talked about posing
Sure.
earlier before you guys, so if you have any posing questions, Andy's also your guy.
Bodybuilding or physique competition, any of that stuff, nutrition, we're here for you. So
Twitch,
ask
so-
away.
So Twitch.
Oh, Twitch.
They say this girl has more muscles than me. And she looks awesome.
Thank you. Twitch, you guys are awesome too.
Muscle's good.
They're telling you to open your jacket, dude.
Dang, let me get the pump on first.
Get that deep V,
Then I'll
baby.
open it.
Say to him, open his jacket. That's funny. Okay, another question from Facebook. Do Arnold presses target the same as military presses? Arnold presses, yes, they're a little different. They target a lot more.
More,
muscles
I would
than
say
just, yeah.
front delt,
Yeah.
a little bit more, especially with the beginning movement of an Arnold press. Whereas military would just be more
Just your
strict.
shoulder,
And
yeah.
I would say that's actually hitting all three,
Yeah. Yeah.
posterior, anterior.
Okay, so your questions are coming in. We're going to start answering questions.
Cool.
So let's start with the grip. For most of us, I'm going to have Andy measure his thumb at the end of the knurling. So, yep, and then I want you to grip from there.
Cool.
So, if you if you have more flexible wrists, if you have bigger hands, I suggest wrapping entirely. Andy likes the monkey grip, which is fine, I suppose. If you're doing push presses or push jerks that we're going to talk about more, I wouldn't suggest the monkey grip because if you're putting more weight, the likelihood that it could fall out of your hand is greater.
Yep.
So, Andy's going to put put the bar on his shoulders. So, here's another, can you stay here for a while? Are you going to be okay?
Yeah, I'll
We'll
be
talk about
fine.
this.
Andy, just step to
I'm
your
just
left.
here for moral support.
Take a step to your left, Andy. One more. There you go, right there.
There we go. Okay, so this is issue number 1 for
I got
for a lot
issues.
of people, is this mobility to actually have the bar in this position. So, if this is a huge struggle for you and you're just using push press to really build your delt muscles instead of move a lot of weight, then we can change the way that we're gripping. So we can bring the bar forward if we need to, off the chest, and then straighten your wrists. Straighten your wrists, strong wrists. There you go. You can press from this position if this is more comfortable for you. The issue is that you're under tension right here and right now. So the odds of you being able to do a lot of reps or a lot of weight because you're having to hold it here and bring it down under control is less, if that makes sense. Because you're really, if you're talking about time under tension, this is a lot greater than resting the bar on your delts.
Yep.
So go ahead and at rest, if you can, put it on your delts.
Delts.
Bring your elbows
yeah.
up a little bit. So, if in this position, we see a lot of problems because people put their elbows too high, which it's impossible for Andy to do.
Too much
And
front
then,
delt.
my delts are too big. Or their elbows are too far back behind them,
Is that a humble brag?
which is also really difficult to press from. Does that make sense? So, for a beginner, if you're new at overhead pressing and you have the mobility to do this, I would suggest having the bar on your delts, bringing your elbows forward a little bit. You don't want them too far up because then you can't press from it, and then go from there. And he's also going to tighten his core. He's going to breathe in and hold it right here. So he has his what are the words I'm thinking
Diaphragm.
of? Your diaphragm and your pelvic floor are going to contract, and then hit this like pocket of air that's going to make your spine and your core nice and stable, which is exactly what we want in the overhead press. You can rest for a second because I want you to turn around.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, questions?
Should they start doing the overhead movement without weight first or with lightweight?
Yeah, if you're new to an overhead movement, start with lightweight. You can even start with dumbbells if you're uncomfortable with a barbell. Just building up your strength and your stability. It takes a lot of core stability to be good, to be strong enough to get the weight over your head. You can't always rely on your shoulders because really your shoulders aren't strong enough. You're gonna have to do a lot of this to get it over your head.
What movement would you say for a beginner? Would you say start with a strict press instead of a more compound press?
I would start with a strict press, build that strength. The push press and the push jerk take a little bit more athleticism. So if you're unused to moving your body in general, that's gonna be a little bit harder.
Kind of just get that foundational movement first with a strict press, and then move to something where you're actually tossing it up over your head.
Okay.
YouTube asked if they could also see the movement from the side.
Yes, I'm gonna have them turn around. That's what we're doing. To answer your question, your feet on a press. They see my feet, Derek? Would you? So I'm gonna say be a little bit wider, squat position probably. For me, it's helpful if I have my feet wider than narrower. That just makes me feel more stable. You can play around with it. So Andy, let's turn around.
Sideways or all the way?
Sideways.
Sideways.
Yeah, right there. Another question, is this technically considered a compound movement? Are you supposed to use leg drive? You can use leg drive in a push press. We're gonna get there. Right now we're talking about the strict press. Would you recommend doing these seated or standing? Either. Like most movements, seated, you're gonna take out any leg movement. Depends on what you like to do.
Stability based.
Stability based. I
Lower
prefer
back stabilized. So if you're seated, it's actually going to be, I would say easier for me. Standing in strict press, you are more stable at the base.
Yes.
So,
and you should probably, if you're working out, I suggest standing because you probably sit a lot in general anyway.
yeah.
Okay, so Andy's got the bar on his shoulders, his elbows are a little bit forward, his core is tight. Now, another thing that I see a lot of times, people will push the bar over their head. Go ahead and do that. No, don't bend your legs.
Oh,
just strict press. Strict press. Boom. So this looks really good. His ears are in his armpits. His elbows are as pretty locked out as they can be for him. I'm sure this is uncomfortable right here in particular. Another thing that people do wrong is they arch their back when they push and they stick their butt out. They're here. Another thing, you can rest. Another thing I see guys do a lot is, would you lean back and push the butt forward?
Sure.
So this is, if you can, do you guys see the difference here? Your ceiling, if you're trying to get the more weight over your head, pushing it forward is not going to help. Your bones aren't stacked on top of your bones. And you're using a lot of chest instead of shoulders here.
Super upper chest.
Super upper chest, and then also scary on your lower back because you got to arch to get it over your head. Well, over your nipple line, I guess, in this case.
Compromised spine.
Compromised spine, spinal, using a belt will not help your compromised spine. Just don't do that. So we're looking at it better this time again. So we're talking about Andy's feet. They're nice and wide. Go ahead and put that on your shoulders or whatever's comfortable for you. Elbows are forward slightly. Tight core. He's going to push the bar over his head and be as stacked as possible for Andy. His ears are at his armpits. He's not pushing his shoulders way up. He's not shrugging. He's nice and strong and stable here. Go ahead, rest. Okay.
I'm sweating. No way
Good.
either.
Look it.
Good stuff. Ready.
Would this video end abruptly and can only be accessed further after subscription? No, you will get this whole thing for free. Thumb placement to the side or around the bar. Depends. There you go. Look it. Jack it off. Flex it out.
Bodybuilding.
What muscles are used for this movement?
For the strict press, mostly your shoulders.
Yeah, so all three, so anterior, posterior, and medial delt. So
Yep. It's a great all-around deltoid
pump.
There you go. You're gonna also use a lot of your core. If you're so if you pick up the bar again, if you're not stable through your core, there's no way you're gonna be able to put the bar over your head. There's also much, so if you put it on your shoulders, if you're like weak right here, Also, you're gonna probably be in this sort of ugly position with your spine. That's a never healthy and never okay. Tight, strong, get big. That's usually a key. They tell a lot of people when they're doing this is to get big. Make everything really big, really tight, really wide before you push the bar over your head. Okay, only time I arch my back is during my last rep and I'm completely exhausted. If you're doing a lot of weight on this, you're gonna arch your back. It's gonna happen. The point is at the top of the movement that your bones are stacked, that your wrists, elbows, shoulders are stacked. That's what's important, not necessarily that you're not in front of your body.
It's almost a center of gravity thing, right? So when you're talking about seated, you don't necessarily have the same center of gravity. You want to build that stability base when you're standing so that there's that line in your body that stabilizes.
Isn't that nice? Nice and clean, beautiful lines. Perfect. Question from Peter. Sorry for the ignorance. Don't apologize. But is there a difference between 5 to 10 reps of very heavy weight versus 20 plus of lighter weight? Difference in what it will do to your body depends entirely on your fitness level. If you're in the market for weight loss, your first thing you're gonna have to worry about is your nutrition, and really anything you do in the gym is gonna help you. If you wanna get strong, you're gonna wanna do heavier weight, fewer reps.
Yep.
If you wanna get more ripped, like Andy here, you're gonna still use lighter weight is really subjective. I've seen a lot of ladies in particular like grab those 2-pound dumbbells and like curl away. That's not doing anything. So lightweight is subjective. You have to use enough weight that it's difficult.
The key would just be to go into failure, whether or not it's going to be 6 to 8 reps or if you're going to that 20 rep range. For me, even if I'm using lighter weight, that failure point is key. So training muscle endurance, people think, oh yeah, I'm going to grab 10s or 20s, I'm going to do 20 reps, and they could have done 50 reps.
Yeah.
But train to that failure point.
Yeah.
That's the key.
Important. Question
This is from YouTube.
from YouTube.
I have to arch my lower back whenever I do strict presses. Does that mean it's too heavy for me and should I lower it?
Depends, I suppose, on your goals. If you're trying to press as much weight as possible, that's going to happen. Form breaks down at post maximal levels. That's just what happens. If you're not trying to do that, then there's really no reason to compromise your spine just to
Get an extra rep. Yeah.
So I guess it depends. Like most of the answers for everybody's questions. Sorry.
And is it your last set, or are you doing this throughout the course of
Right.
the entire lift?
Right.
That type of a thing.
Right.
I would say if it's like the whole 3 sets, definitely fix your form.
Yep.
Drop the weight lower.
Yep.
Is it good to use a belt for this movement?
Yes, I would say don't put a belt on unless you're 80% or above. You might argue with me on that. But as a strength athlete, as a performance athlete, you need to train your body to work the best possible way it can without help. And that means your core is not going to get any stronger if you're constantly giving it aid with a belt. So don't put a belt on until you're putting pretty heavy weight on the bar.
The bodybuilder in me maybe says otherwise. Kind of like how you probably feel about strapping up, that type of a thing. So a belt is basically a strap for your back. If that belt is allowing you to isolate muscle better and actually do heavier weight and put on more muscle as the end result, I would say use it. Just like wrist wraps. Like if I can do a heavier max using wrist wraps, I'm gonna use them. But that's the bodybuilder in me. So.
Which is totally valid. That's the thing about fitness, is that there's lots of different answers.
Different ways.
And nothing is wrong.
Yep.
Other question.
All right, this is from Twitch. This person goes to Planet Fitness. Should they use a Smith machine for this or dumbbells? Because there's no...
Yeah, Planet Fitness.
This is probably another difference in opinion.
Dumbbells.
I would say use dumbbells. I don't like the Smith machine. I don't like that it controls the movement pattern for your body. It's because the bar, if you're pressing, it's gonna arch a little bit. In a Smith machine, you have to stay on that track. So to me, I would say use dumbbells.
I've done both. I love strict press, and I have done it with dumbbells and I've done it with Smith machine. I don't think you can go wrong there. I would just like to see the rest of your training plan and see which version fits in better with your shoulder day, that type of a thing.
Yep.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay. More questions. Should shoulders be on a separate day if I really need to choose body part to club with it? Not sure what that means.
Club, what kind of a club?
Dancing club? I don't. You can have a shoulder day if you want. Totally depends on your goals and your. The guy's like.
My favorite day, by the way, is shoulders. I love shoulders.
It totally depends on how you like to train. If you're a full body guy and you like to do full body every day, just make sure you have some shoulders in there. The trouble I think with a lot of people is they forget their shoulders because they're way too worried about their biceps and triceps and their chest. So if you do an upper body day, then definitely hit some shoulders, but you can totally do a shoulder day too.
And you can even do a push-pull type style plan where you're incorporating shoulders on a push day, or you can have. I've had plans where I've had solo shoulder days, which I love, by the way. Shoulders my favorite, but it's just all varies on your training style and your overall goals. Are shoulders an emphasis to you? Is that a weak point? Talking from a bodybuilder aspect, is that something you want to build more of a V-taper so you want to get your shoulders wider? Maybe have a solo shoulder day then.
Right.
Yeah.
Goals.
What are your thoughts on the behind the neck press?
Those are killer. Do them. If you have the mobility to do them and that you're not like killing yourself, do them. I would say, let's show them. Have you ever done these?
Yeah, behind the neck.
He's done behind the neck.
Of course he has.
Of course he has.
Why, yes.
Oh, you're gonna double.
Oh yeah, sorry.
My bad.
I'm supposed to stay here.
If you
I'm
want
used to
doing the
Front to back.
Good. Yeah, you can do this actually with any movement. You can push press this way. You can push jerk this way. You can split jerk this way. Do it. Absolutely. Okay.
With good form.
With good form. Don't mess your back. And then be careful if you're doing heavyweight and you're pushing it here. If you go to catch it behind your neck, make sure you bend your knees before you stand back up. Sorry. More questions. Sorry.
It's good. Questions are good.
So many questions. Can you use a curl bar for this? Yes, just not an easy bar. Use a straight bar.
Question from YouTube?
YouTube.
What are the best warm-ups for shoulders? So for shoulder activation or stretching?
Go for it.
Man, why don't we just show
so you can, let me just
internal,
show
external rotations. I mean, I actually like to start with just a little bit of a jog like this with some weights in my hands. Just kind of get things flowing. It's just basically opening up the shoulder, getting some blood flow in there. Go up here. It's basically all sorts, and then you can do lateral raises, that type of thing, in and out. Basically just get the blood flowing in your shoulder and kind of lubricate that joint up a bit.
I'm not that big of a warm-up girl. Usually I just like do the movement that I'm gonna do at a lighter weight, and then that's the same thing. You're gonna use the same movement and the same muscles. You're just using lighter weight to warm them up.
I'm getting old. I gotta warm up my shoulders.
I'm in Cassie's camp.
I know. I can't warm up. I can't do it.
I ain't got time for that.
Thank you.
Warm-up
everyone.
sets are good too.
Okay, another question. Is it right to eat more than 50 grams of protein per meal? That depends on your body weight and a lot of other things. It seems like a lot to me.
Per meal or post-workout?
It said per meal.
Per meal?
50.
Seems like a
Man,
lot.
yeah, I mean, it's,
But what if he's a big dude?
what if you're intaking 7 meals a
Right.
day? That's a lot of protein. That's way over.
What if it's only
That's just
3
extra
or 4
calories.
meals?
Yeah.
That's a good question, sir.
I would say post-workout, yes. Upwards of, what is it? It's close to 50 grams actually gets the highest muscle protein synthesis going. But at that minimum, you want to get like 20 grams in. But there was extra gains seen with that extra scoop.
Researchers found extra
as
gains.
Science as that sounds. Future says.
I love it.
Is gains a scientific
With a
term?
Z at the end.
I think so, yeah. I hope the studies said gains in it, actually. But, man, I would say calculate out how much protein you need, so that 1 to 1.5 grams per pound of body weight, and then factor it in that way. So you can have 50 grams with a meal if you want. Every meal,
Seems like a lot.
I haven't done it. That seems like a lot.
Careful your tummy.
Chat,
Get your probiotic in you.
Yeah, let's do some more lifts.
Okay, so we're gonna do
What else we
we're gonna
got?
do push press now. Talk about the difference. So lots of questions.
Slowly going into the CrossFit realm here.
Get
At
ready.
least there's no
Get
weight
ready,
on
friends.
this, so.
No wait. Okay. How can you equalize muscle asymmetry Just keep training them. Don't do one arm heavier than the other. Don't do one side heavier than the other. They're gonna catch up. It's gonna happen. Give it time. Okay, so same thing, push press. Again, we're gonna try to get Andy to rest the bar in his giant delts. His elbows are gonna be up a little, tight core, butt squeeze. He's gonna dip his knees a little bit. That's still too much, come on. Just like 3 inches, a little less, right there, beautiful. He's gonna use the power, or he's gonna use the energy from this knee bend, and he's gonna push it all the way up through the bar. Ready, go. Beautiful. Nice. Do one more. Yeah, you hear the bar a little bit? You guys probably can't hear it. Do one more. Yeah, see how that's nice and fast and powerful? And now a lot of the issues I've seen with the push press is the same as the strict press, in that there's lots of arching, there's lots of weird like butt stuff happening, and people for some reason, so they'll bend their knees great, they'll be here, and then they'll like straighten them and then do a strict press.
Yeah. So it is getting used to that entire movement, but yeah, separating the movement out into parts.
Yeah.
So then you're turning it into a strict press.
Right. So if you do that, you're doing like knee bend strict press. It takes a little bit of practice to get energy to move from one part of your body to another. The best way I can coach how to do that is to be as powerful and fast as possible. Push press is a fast movement. Power is fast, speed is good. That gets weight over your head better. Another thing I see is when people are doing, would you do a butt back instead of knee bend? There you go. This is not, stay in that if you can. Yeah. This is not a great position to get the bar over your head in. Andy's pushing his butt back instead of bending his knees, which is, granted, different. Most athletic positions that you're going to be in is in this position. In a push press, you're going to be here, and that's okay. And that's what you should do. Do a couple more, cool. Andy, so the folks at home can see you. Okay, oh my gosh, there's so many questions. Okay, awesome.
Cool.
Answer some. That's the push press.
Are overhead press and military press the same thing?
Yes, strict overhead press, military press, barbell shoulder press, it's all the same thing. Again,
slight variations. Slight.
We can argue. Semantics. If you are really, it doesn't, like your shoulders are gonna get, stuff's gonna happen in your shoulders, stuff's gonna happen to your strength, no matter what little variation you're gonna put on the bar. If you're like stepping on stage and like you really need to tweak, then you can pay attention to it. If you're a beginner, just freaking put the bar over your head.
Yep, I agree.
Okay, good. Question.
Is it okay to put one leg forward and one leg backwards while doing the strict press / push press?
I suppose, so you're like pressing like this? I guess. I mean, if that helps you.
I would think it might mess with your center of gravity a bit.
Yeah.
I could try it.
Yeah, see what it does.
I've never actually tried it.
I've never done that either.
See how that feels.
How come you do that, sir? Do you feel stronger?
Oh, it feels alright.
You just changed.
Actually, I feel more weight on my front foot.
Yeah, that's what I imagine that it would be. You might be limiting the amount of weight you can do by doing that, because that's going to change. If you're doing a split jerk, then that's different. But pressing that way, I'm not sure I would.
That center line of gravity, that's basically stabilizing you in your lower back.
Okay.
Could be compromised
Katie.
a tiny bit.
Oh, sorry. What could a person with arthritis in their wrists do to build up strength and mobility so they can lift and grip more?
Grip strength.
Man, sis, yeah. If you have arthritis, I'm sorry. I would check with your doctor, make sure that's okay. I don't know what kind of medication you're gonna need with arthritis. It's really, unfortunately, probably always gonna hurt. I don't know the proper medical care for arthritis and like gripping.
Just for normal grip strength in general, not for anything related to arthritis. There's certain movements you can do, like they have the twisting mobility. You can also take a dumbbell and just kind of do wrist curls to kind of build up your forearm strength. But that's just general wrist strength.
If you can, like a really great way to build grip strength is to just hold. If you have kettlebells, just hold them. Just hang out with them if you can, or take walks. You can even pinch lighter weights if you want. There's lots of different ways to do it. Again, I would just check with your doctor and make sure that it's cool.
Sure.
So we have a rep range question.
Rep
Joseph
range.
asks, how many reps should I do if I want to get juicy shoulders or juicy delts like hers?
Juicy.
Juicy.
Man, that guy's delts are small.
Got me. That hurts.
Reps. So, man, you guys would probably be surprised with the kind of reps that I do. I don't work out like Andy does, so I'm gonna let you take this because I'm sure this is a more gym worker outer.
He wants your
Juicy delts, man. Literally, it's just do the presses, do them heavy. Everyone misses out. I can't tell you, everyone. That's a problem in this world. Is everyone's a wuss. Put weight on the bar, put it over your head, try hard, get sweaty, breathe, fail. Just do it. Sorry. That's my stance on the matter.
Rear delt. One thing I'm gonna say,
Good
a
call.
lot of guys and beginners don't think about rear delts and don't build rear delt to the capacity of mid delt or front delt. Hammer your rear delts if you want that full shoulder capped look.
Yeah.
And that's the key from a competing aspect for me, because a lot of these exercises are triggering mid delt, front delt, but rear delt is the often neglected delt.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
You gotta pull too.
Yep.
That helps. Okay.
We talked about balance earlier. Balance your shoulders out.
And that's why, really, a lot of guys have struggled to go overhead because they just don't do it.
Yeah.
Everything's always really forward.
Yep.
Question.
So from YouTube, should we wait on what?
So many. It's good. That's
You guys
great.
are awesome
Keep asking questions.
We'll try to get to them.
Do you need specific shoes to press like that, just like you do for squat shoes, or
You can wear lifting shoes that will help you, oddly enough. You don't have to. I would suggest, Andy's shoes might be a little squishy.
Squishy.
For
it's
me.
not good.
Yeah. So it's harder.
Fashion, not function. Right here.
Look how nice.
Thank you.
Look at, they're brand new.
They're light. They're new. They're clean.
How many times have they been worn?
What if I step
5.
on
Don't step on these.
These are a little bit better. These are powerlifting shoes.
Those are sweet.
Yeah, I really like these.
It's all in the heel.
It's all in the heel. But it's really, this doesn't have there's no drop in this. It's pretty flat. So I would say flat shoes that aren't squishy, or wear weightlifting shoes. But if you're just doing this as part of your workout, don't change your shoes just to do 3 sets of 12 push press. You're fine. Don't stress
Good
about
call.
your shoes.
Good call.
Right? There's a lot worse things. If you're in the gym
training for an
working out,
event, you got a powerlifting comp coming up.
Right.
Get those shoes.
Right.
Man.
But if you're
Get
just
that
in the
little
gym
bit
working
of
out,
edge,
then just do what you got to do. Alternative to shoulder press workout if I'm still recovering from rotator cuff. Check with your doc. If you can't go overhead, then you just wait for that thing to get better, and you can push and you can pull.
Band work for time under
There you
tension
go.
and stability. That's a lot of rehab stuff is with band work in general. So
Yeah. Do your PT.
PT.
But yeah. Wow. Shouldn't you be pushing your head forwards for the end of the push press? Yes, Andy does a really good job of pushing forward with his head. You do not have to go crazy and get it forward. As long as your ears are near your armpits, you're fine. You don't need to go crazy. Okay. Can you take a multivitamin in the evening or morning time? As long as you take it every day, it doesn't matter when you take it.
Take your multi.
Take
Just
your
get
multi.
it in.
Whew.
Lift heavy, take a multi.
Put the phone down. I would love to, but we have to talk.
We're
to the
answering
people.
questions. She's answering questions.
I'm not texting. Probably reading comments. Oh, thank you for coming to me. Which post-workout protein do you suggest to reduce weight? What brands? What casein or whey?
Reduce weight. That's so general. I would just say an isolate based on the lower calorie intake over a meal replacement style protein or a gainer protein. Casein would be fine. It's used a lot of times at night for weight loss, that type of thing. Get your metabolism going over time. Keep your muscle protein synthesis going over time. But I would just say my general answer is a standard isolate, which we sell lots of. Tons.
I'm gonna disagree. Because that's what we do. A lot of the times, like, losing weight is more, to me, macros are important, but it's also more about your calories.
Yeah.
A lot of the times we are super anti-carb. You need carbs to grow your muscles. You need carbs for your body to work properly. If you get a post-workout protein with some carbs and fat in it, it's not going to make you fat. Really, it's just watching your overall caloric intake and then like making sure that those are in the right types. If you're getting enough protein, enough carbs, and enough
Know your
fat.
macros.
Know your macros. There's lots of awesome macro calculators on Bodybuilding.com. If you are concerned, check out, make sure you know your total daily energy expenditure, plug that into those macro calculators, and it'll tell you how much protein, fat, and carbs for weight loss or weight gain. Or
try to figure out like your body style, if you're endo, ecto, meso, and then there's certain nutrient breakdown ratios of carb, protein, fats, specifically for each body type. That can help you lose weight, and that is also on the site. You can look up articles that we have on each body type, and then macronutrient breakdowns to go with them as well.
Lawrence Ballinger, hey bro,
What
hey
up,
bro. He asks,
Does he lift?
do you even lift? He
I'm
asks,
pretty sure he lifts.
what do you guys do to have those yoke traps?
Oh man,
That's from Ballinger.
It's
Ballinger.
the
dang,
best.
that's a compliment right there.
Maybe you should tell us what you do, Lawrence. I do a lot of cleans and snatches.
I actually like the Smith machine because I can load up a bunch of weight and just kind of isolate traps. So I do that as well as barbell shrugs. Like I'll superset the two of those. So great question from
That's
the
a great
trap
question
king
from
right
the
there.
king himself. Jason, how often? Oh wow, this is a big question. How often should someone change up the routine to make the most gains with the Z? Thank you for spelling it
That's
properly.
how you spell it.
I gained a little over 30 pounds my first 8 months of lifting, but have remained at 195 for the last 3 months. This is a great Andy question.
Okay, hold on.
I
let
have
me see
still been
this.
leaning out, but I'm assuming I'm still making small gains. Is that to be expected?
Whoa.
Okay, so you always want to, changing your routine is smart and good, but remember that you have to have some linear progression in the weights that you're using to make sure your muscles are actually changing and adapting. If they get used to doing the same thing over and over and over, that's bad. But it's also bad to constantly do something different because then you have nothing to measure against, and you don't know what gains you are making.
Yeah. So whenever I run a plan, it's funny you say that, I run a plan for 2 months, 3 months. A lot of people get tired or bored in 2 to 3 weeks and switch right to a new plan. But I actually want to make sure I kind of hit that plateau and 100% know it. So it sounds like if you're now not making, after 3 months, which is about the time that I run a plan, those gains, and you're staying at that 195, it might be time to get some muscle confusion in there and switch up your training routine.
Could also be a nutrition issue too. Like you might need to up your calories a little bit. I mean, you and play with those macros. If you wanna keep and build that muscle and at the same time lose a little fat, that's gonna take a little bit more tweaking and playing with your macros. And you might just need to do
And
that.
especially if you've made that progress, your body and your metabolism has probably become used to the progress you're making. And I don't know if you're changing your nutrition with it. So yeah, you would want to be thinking, hey, maybe it's time for me to bump up my carb, protein. With my nutrition plan as well, and then change my training style to see if I can get extra gains that way.
So a question from Twitch, it's a traps question. Should they do overhand, underhand grip, mixed when they're training against shrugs?
For shrugs.
I do palms facing in most of the time, just your normal shrug. If I'm on the Smith machine, it's just here, and it's just a normal pull. I don't do anything crazy. I see guys going behind them here and pulling back, and I really don't. Maybe traps are a lot genetics. Who knows?
I don't do that. I mean, I pull a lot. Do your pulls, freaking pull from the ground up here, or from your waist up. Just pull on the bar and pull with the right muscles. Don't use your biceps.
And if you have an emphasis on shoulder days, traps will get worked with a lot of different lifts. So it's not necessarily something you have to work by itself. You can still get big traps, like Cassie here, without necessarily hitting them directly.
Okay, man. Sorry, you guys have so many good questions. I'm sorry, I know some of you are bored with listening to us talk and that you want to see lifting. We're trying to get to everybody's questions.
I'm losing the pump.
Thank you for being.
Cassie,
I
I'm
know.
losing the pump.
So let's do.
Going flat.
One more question.
Okay, one more question, and then we're gonna do a push jerk, and we're gonna laugh at Andy. It's gonna be awesome.
This is me going into the CrossFit realm.
Okay, man. Can you flex the guns? There you go.
Yeah.
Is keto a good way to reduce weight?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes, sure. If you want to eat like that, go for it. I mean, would not like that.
I think it's proven it's good at reducing weight. I would say there was a recent study that came out that it's also proven it's not the best for athletic performance at the same time.
Yeah.
So if your main goal is losing weight, keto is 100% fine in my opinion. Athletic performance, training for the CrossFit Games, I know there's people that do it, but are there many? Okay.
So that's like the issue. I don't like the war on carbs. Sorry, Mark Bell. Your body needs carbs to like perform well.
Yes.
If you are worried about your performance, you need carbs. If you are literally just wanting to lose weight, like Andy said, try keto. You might feel weird. It's gonna take some time for you to get used to it.
Sure.
But like, don't like remove carbs from your diet or don't fear them. You need them. As long as they're just like everything, you don't just like
I love
fill
carbs.
your body.
Carbohydrates are the most efficient energy source for your body and your brain.
Just
so
don't eat only donuts.
If you're trying to switch it up and have your body be running on fats, it's not as efficient. And I think there's studies that have shown that for athletic performance. But for strictly losing weight, 100% fine and great. And I've seen a lot of people have great weight loss transformations through that. So
Yes. Okay, so we're gonna do Amanda Smith on Facebook. I'm gonna get to your question. It's a great question for a lady. I'm gonna answer it because we don't get many lady questions, but we're gonna do it after we talk
Lady
about
question.
the push jerk. So
I
go
would
ahead.
answer the lady.
Can we get some laughing emojis if they think Andy is actually going to perform the push jerk? correctly?
Yeah, so the first time he does it, I'm not even gonna coach him. I'm just gonna say go. And then you do the laughing. Click laughing.
Just laugh at me now. It's okay.
Okay,
Throw
go.
some shade.
Okay, so I'm here, and then. Oh,
Pretty good.
is that it? I'm like excited. Can I do it?
Do it one more time. It's pretty good.
Yes.
Not bad. Okay.
Yes.
A lot of you are like, why the hell would I do this movement? I'm not a CrossFitter. Okay, that might be true, but you're gonna get like a 30% increase in the weight that you can do from a strict press to a push press and a push press to a push jerk. That means if you want to get a lot of weight over your head, you're gonna need some help. You're gonna make it so like the bar doesn't have to go as high. So you're actually catching the bar lower and then standing it up. And you're gonna use some of your legs instead of just your upper body.
Yep.
So that's what it is. So,
Incorporating legs, incorporating hips, being able to press more weight over your head, not just strictly a strength movement like a strict press.
right.
More of a power movement.
It is power movement. And that's like the most weight. So this is what's fun about this movement is you can actually push heavy freaking weight over your head, which is really fun. So the key is that
That was worse. That was worse form.
So you have to get the bar essentially up and off your shoulders, and you're gonna come down and catch it and stand up with it. That was good.
Nice.
And you have to be fast. That's the other thing. Fast and athletic. So this also builds athleticism. It builds coordination. It builds stability. That was a good one.
Nice.
I want you, if you're doing this, start with the bar and then slowly add weight. Just get used to the movement. I want Andy, if you can, see if you can make the bar make a noise that you're pushing so hard that you're gonna. Yeah. You probably didn't hear that.
That's a good way to
That's what I
teach
want.
that because that just forced me to exert more power.
That's the thing.
Make a noise.
Make a noise. Same with snatch and clean and jerk. You want that bar to move and spin. Yeah. Feel that power? That's nice. Okay. Amanda asks, as a large frame female at 5 feet 10 inches and a somewhat beginner to lifting, I'm interested in building strength, dropping fat, but I know I'm not built to have a skinny build. Girl, you're speaking my language. I have 75 pounds to lose, but I have an abnormal strength for a woman. Got a full body scan, and to be healthy weight with no additional muscle gain, I'm looking at 216 pounds body weight, and that's just as I am now. Every site I look at sets me in a category with the average woman, and I'm pretty certain I'm not. Where can I go to figure out where to begin for me as an individual? to build strength, lose fat, and not lose muscle. I take pride in my ability to lift heavy, being above average. That's awesome. And you should keep working on your strength. There's no reason not to. I imagine you're probably looking at programs that are more aesthetic and bodybuildery than like powerlifting or weightlifting or CrossFit. For you, you can keep lifting as a strong person, and you can still reduce your calories to lose weight. If you're trying to lose weight, like no matter what you do in the gym, nutrition is 80%, the gym is like 20%. No matter what you do in here, it's gonna work if your calories are low enough. So don't necessarily worry about your performance as a strength athlete, as long as you're giving yourself enough calories, particularly that pre-workout carbohydrate source, give your body enough energy to move heavy and well as you seem to, then you shouldn't necessarily worry about losing your muscle. That's not gonna go, it's not just gonna go away unless you like destroy your calories.
What do they say? It usually takes upwards of like a month before you actually start losing muscle.
Yeah.
If you have been previously trained.
Yeah.
Or a trained athlete.
Yeah. I wouldn't imagine
it takes quite a while.
It takes a long time. Your strength isn't going to go anywhere as long as you keep training your strength, as long as you keep making strides to doing more weight every time. You're going to be fine. And just pay it, like I said, like check out a calculator, see how many calories you need, see what your macros are, and then play with that. It's going to take some time. If you find yourself losing more than 2 pounds a week, you are probably not eating enough. If you find that you're only losing like half a pound a week, you might be eating too much. Just play with it. Keep training strong, and like it doesn't like you can be strong, you can be tall, you can be big. Like I'm clearly not an ectomorph. Never have been. And like that's okay. Your body will change. It might take a long time.
Yeah. Work with what your body gives you.
That's cool. It's good.
Consistency is key.
Yeah. Keep trucking, girl. Don't feel bad. Feel awesome. Okay. Cassie Hawks, thank you. Standing bar press. Okay, this is a good question, Kevin King. Standing bar press, what's the best way to initiate the movement? That's the hard part. Totally get it. For me, it's here. I have to use my core. And I have to come back a little bit. So not here, but in order to initiate, I have to move my upper body back a little bit. What do you say?
I've noticed that, sets 2, sets 3 are way easier because that initial movement and then that initial set is always the hardest. And then you start to loosen up kind of the joint and you're able to press easier. For me, kind of like what you said, it is not a leaning back, but it's maybe like a slight, just get it going.
Yeah.
Once you get that first rep up, you can easily correct form.
Yeah. Yep.
But it is maybe just a slight oomph to get it up.
Yep. Oh man. Keto flu, how many press? Push. This is a good question. With the push press, would jumping whilst pressing help? I don't suggest that unless you're doing like a split jerk or a power jerk. It's just a push press. Yes, it will help you get the weight up, but like jumping and then catching it takes some athleticism and is hard. If you're just doing that push press, just use that slight knee bend and then extend your hips and then get the bar up.
That's all you need, right? That's plenty.
Question.
From YouTube, they want to see you go through the basic overhead press up setup
Again?
on a rack. So like probably the start.
Yeah.
Get ready.
Okay.
Sure.
Yikes. Well, can you move? Another thing, Ashley, thanks for pointing it out to sister. Another really good thing to think about when you're doing a push jerk and a push press is to extend your hips fully. Hip extension is like where power comes from. So if you're here, you don't want to keep your hips closed or keep them forward or keep them back. You want here, all the way. And that means if you're pushing, if you're taking your knees and you're bringing them up, you're squeezing your butt so your hips are totally open. Same with the push jerk. You're here, you're gonna extend your hips fully, squeeze your butt, and then you're gonna catch it again, full extend. That makes sense? So think about your hips. It's not just an upper body movement, it's a full body movement. Okay.
Cool. I think this is about right. Yep.
Yeah. So out of rack, you're gonna choose the height that makes most sense for you. Like we talked about before, I like to measure the end of my thumbs to the end of the knurling. That's usually a good grip for me. If you have gnarly shoulders, if you are unflexible, you can go wider or more narrow. And then Amy's going to come, this is another thing, come all the way to the bar.
Yep.
That's another issue that people have, is they try to pick it up when they're like way far away from the bar. Come all the way under, bring your elbows up if possible, and then stand. And you can take a couple steps out if you want.
Yep.
Right there. That looks really nice. Good. Oh, man. When should you do cardio, before or after you train? Is there a time frame before, i.e. an hour or two after? It depends on your goal.
Yeah.
Most people do cardio after they strength train. But
Or separate days even. I notice if I'm going to get the most out of my cardio, which is usually a HIIT session, I don't want to be doing it right before my workout because I'm going to be too tired, because I'm exerting myself that intensively for my workout. And then a lot of times I don't have anything in the tank after I lift to be able to do a successful HIIT workout. So for purposes of getting the most, and as we said earlier, like lifting to failure, that type of thing, do your HIIT intensity to failure. So how are you going to do that? Maybe it's on an off day, or not a total off day, but like an active off day. So I like to do it on a separate day than my lifts.
So it's from Twitch. Why do I feel like I can overhead press more when I use suicide grip as opposed to thumbs wrapped around the bar? Bro science?
That probably, like, it's just harder on your mobility. A lot of guys have super tight, a thoracic spine that just like is stuck tight because everything's forward. So if you can be more relaxed and open this way, that's of course going to have less stress on your upper back. It's going to have less stress on your biceps, less stress on your forearms because you're so tight. So you can use, like Andy does, you can use a suicide, that's fine. It just, again, remember, if you're pushing a lot of weight, or if you're going to push, press, or push jerk, I don't recommend that because it can fall out of your hands.
I fix my grip when I go heavy. But if it's, 10 reps and I know I maybe don't have a spotter, I will easily suicide grip it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yep. Feels better for me. I can feel it in my wrist.
Why has that guy got long hair and makeup on? Ooh.
Shots fired. Shots fired, yeah.
Someone called me a dude. Crazy.
Dang.
Good one, bro. Okay. Close grip versus wide grip. Talked about this. Depends on your comfort level. If you are flexible enough to have it closer, you can make it closer. So if you notice how really good weightlifters, they'll come out of a clean and then they'll pop the lock and they'll bring their hands wider in order to get the bar over their head. It's obviously a shorter range of motion, right? If your hands are wider. That means that the bar has to travel less time in the air if it's wider than here. This is a long, this is shorter. That makes sense. So it's technically easier, just like any power movement, bench press, squat, if you make the range of motion small, you're gonna be able to do more weight. So up to you.
I would say also think about how the triceps are involved. So let's say you're doing barbell, and you say you're doing like a hammer grip, something that's a way closer to your, not wide, just a close. And if you're going up, you're using way more triceps here than if you were to be out wide, where you would incorporate a little bit more upper chest. Different, more front delt in a close versus just mid delt in a wider grip. So that's how I look at it too.
Another one. These two dudes are jacked.
Dang.
Oh man, dang. She's bigger than him. LOL.
It's compliments.
When do bar fix my right shoulder pain a lot? I think you mean when you're holding the bar here, your shoulders hurt. That if you have an injury, then don't do it that way. If you're tight and you just need to just practice. It's gonna hurt. Like getting strong is painful.
Yeah.
If you want to get good at it, do it.
We talked about this earlier before this, but I would say that a strict press is like one of the most painful upper body lifts you can do. And I actually do a eccentric motion in my current plan of a strict press, to where I am doing 5 sets of a strict press, and then the last 2 are eccentric, so just slow on the way down. So strict press is already hard enough, but you're shaking and you're going slow on the way down. Pain threshold to the max. But if you can train through that and know the difference between a pain threshold from a lift and risking injury. I would never say risk injury, and that's up to you and knowing your body, but it is a very painful lift.
Yeah. And you feel like a huge wuss doing it.
Twitch is asking, they want to know your background, so for new people tuning in, what's your fitness background?
Fitness background, go ahead, Andy.
Fitness background, NGA, natural pro physique. I also compete in the NPC. I've won some local shows. Haven't gone to nationals or tried that yet. Trying to put on size, but I've been training for about 4 years competitively now. And then, as we talked about earlier, about 10 years of muscle memory and college training for sport, which was like the decathlon back then. Track and field. I was a sprinter, yeah. Love sprinting. So that's my fitness background. My name's Andy Swanson.
Andy Aesthetics on the Instagrams.
On the IGs. So check me out if you want.
I'm Cassie. I'm a competitive weightlifter. I've been to nationals and a competitive CrossFitter. I've been in the games on a team and regionals a couple times. I was a college soccer player, so I've been, I guess, lifting for athletics for 10 plus years. I did sort of, when I started working at Bodybuilding.com, got into bodybuilding a little bit, but realized I can't hack the diet. So then I sort of tried to be a power lifter, and then I found CrossFit, and I really like it. So I've like
that
tried
middle ground right
that
there.
middle ground, man.
There you go.
I just like it, and I guess I would say that it takes a lot of time and work to look the way we do. It's not just like 12 weeks.
Yeah.
It's going to take years if you're a beginner, and that's fine. If you have it in you, really, it's just about like maintaining momentum. If you can just train 3 days a week, do it, but do it for years.
Consistency, progress. I wish you guys could see our progress photos. We have a employee, so you guys have the 100K challenge, transformation challenge that we do yearly. We also have an employee one that we all participate in. I wish you guys could see like our old pictures, because if you could see my progress, she's right, it does take years. Like, people want the quick fix in the supplement industry and the fitness industry, and there really isn't that quick fix. It's nutrition, and it's training, it's sleeping, it's water intake. It's all these things over the course of time.
You're before hours in the bottom right.
Oh yeah. There I am, poofy.
There I am.
That was, the bottom one's like fresh out of college, and I had just started working for Bodybuilding.com. And I went from an activity level, doing college practices daily, to basically a work life where I'm sedentary and wasn't lifting. So, the motivation we have here at Bodybuilding.com and what we want to display to you guys as well is just that consistency, and it's a great atmosphere. Fitness can truly change your life if that's what you want from it. So it's been great for us.
All right, so let's do like a quick speed round questions, so they can ask questions that are like 1 to 2 word answers.
Okay, speed round.
Around anything for the most part.
Ask
Speed round.
Speed round. Ask your questions really about anything, but it have to be short answers. It's gonna be the first thing that pops into our head.
It could be like, Cassie, who's your favorite Mortal Kombat character?
Who's your favorite Mortal Kombat character?
Scorpion.
That's what every guy is.
Everybody.
Scorpion.
Cassie, can you do your Scorpion impression?
Get over here.
That's a good one. You got shoot it.
Okay.
Who we got?
Thanks, Terry. Thank you for being a positive role model.
Does being in shape or aesthetic help getting a job at Bodybuilding.com?
That's so funny. No, I
No.
mean, that's actually a really funny thing. People always want to get a job here, and they're like, I'm fit, I'm a trainer, but like, what are your skills? So no, you have to be, no, sorry.
But live the lifestyle if
Yes.
you do get a job here. That's a plus.
It's a plus for sure.
Hey Cassie, what's your split?
I don't have a split. That's a good question. I do CrossFit. So that generally means my workouts start with a strength component. So I'll do front squat, back squat, some sort of press. I can do a jerk, I can do a clean, snatch, some strength component. And then I'll do a metabolic conditioning workout, which is like a HIIT workout on steroids, kind of. So I lift weights really fast for time.
More than one word right there.
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
Why is Andy gorgeous?
Ooh, Andy.
Thank you.
Born that way.
That's the speed round question. Thank you.
Hashtag born that way.
Sub-Zero is better.
Sub-Zero.
Sub-Zero.
He's
I
a
like
cooler
Sub-Zero.
finisher.
Yeah.
Reed.
Oh,
Are
nerve
you watching
right here.
You
Nerve.
like throw your head and you
Fatality finisher.
Fatality.
Are you watching any TV shows right now? What's your favorite TV show?
Favorite TV show? Probably The Office. Like, yeah.
There's a weird Belgian show called Dark on Netflix. It's subbed, but it'll blow your mind.
Okay.
Watch it.
Dark.
Cassie, who's your favorite Grid League player?
Cameron Pernich, because he's my bro.
What's better, Arnold press or military press?
Arnold.
You would.
That's all I gotta say.
Is muscle soreness necessary for muscle building? How tall are you guys?
No, it's not. I'm 5'6".
6'1", barely.
6'1", barely.
What's your favorite supplement?
Off the top of my head.
Creatine.
Pre-workout? I'm a stim junkie. Stims. Anything with stims.
Creatine.
What's your favorite song right now?
No.
Gosh, man.
Jingle bells.
What's on my Spotify right now?
It's Christmas.
Do I want it? I'm not gonna go with a rap song. I'll go with like an EDM song. Yeah, I don't know. Something by Blau.
Wow, never even heard of that.
I mean, 3 loud?
Three
Ooh, this
Loud.
is a good one. LeBron, Kobe, or Jordan? Oh, that's such a good question. I'll have to go Jordan.
That's so easy. You act like that's tough. It's Jordan.
Okay, good.
Trick question is Charles Barkley.
Just Charles.
Trick question.
Shaq.
Charles Barkley. Gotta go Jordan. I had his jersey when I was in like 4th grade. And I loved
Favorite
it.
candy?
Sour Patch Kids, for sure.
Anything with like chocolate and caramel
Yeah.
together.
Favorite Christmas dessert?
Christmas dessert?
Oh. Any dessert,
Yeah.
I'll eat. Christmas specifically.
What do we have on Christmas? Like pecan pie. I
Yeah,
really
I'd
like
say
pies.
pie in combination with ice cream
Yes.
is like a good flavor combo for me.
Yeah.
Like raspberry.
Do you
Raspberry.
look up to anybody in the fitness industry? Who's your favorite person in the fitness industry?
Oh man. I feel like every guy's go-to is like Steve Cook. I love Steve. But it's true. I do
just
love Steve.
This is for you, Steve.
The aesthetics.
He's a good-looking man. I would say in the CrossFit world, I really like.
I said fitness.
I like Sadiq as well.
I
I got a
said
shout
yes.
out to Sadiq.
Sadiq.
Yeah.
He's cool.
He is cool.
You know what? Dana Lynn Bailey, for me, she's way up there. She's an awesome role model. Is strong. I just love everything she's ever done and will ever do.
Jeremy Buendia's godlike aesthetics.
Yes. Any on Facebook going to take them? If not,
Yeah, we
let's
do.
wrap up and give your...
What's your favorite superhero?
Oh man.
Wonder
Batman?
Woman.
I mean, I was always a Batman fan.
Batman's good. He's cool.
He's a solid go-to.
Gotta go Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Our favorite workout.
Shoulders. Not exactly what we just did, but a lot of other
Similar.
exercises. Yeah.
Spartan, Warrior Dash, or Tough Mudder?
That's you.
I haven't done any of those. I would
Really?
say Spartan because it looks the hardest. I would love to do it. I
Yeah.
can't ever find anyone to do it with me. You want to do it?
Tough Mudder would be fun too. Just mud
Just
in
mud.
general.
Well, they all have mud.
Mud.
components, don't
Do they all have that?
It's dirty mud.
It's dirty.
It's super muddy.
E. coli infested.
Yeah. What was the middle one?
It was Warrior Dash.
Warrior Dash? I don't even know what that one is. Unaware.
Who's stronger? LOL. Bet it's Cassie. You'd be right.
Legs? Yeah.
I don't actually. It'd be
Leg
fun
day?
to
Sure,
find
I'll give
that
her
out.
leg day.
We could. Yeah.
Who can curl more?
Oh,
That guy.
please.
Okay.
Please.
Well, thanks for hanging
me a
out with
squat
us
rack.
today, guys.
Instagram too?
Oh yeah, my Instagram is cassie.a.smith. Fair warning, I don't put tons of training stuff up. It's mostly my family, my kid. So no need to follow if you don't want to.
I like that disclaimer. Andy Swanson, Instagram, Andy Aesthetics. Tough to spell there, but you'll figure it out. Yeah, it's been a fun lift.
Fun day. Thanks, guys. See
Happy
you later.
to train you guys. Take care.
Anytime.
Happy holidays.
Happy
Merry
holidays.
Christmas.
Happy New Year.